In 2015, I decided I wanted to share my story by writing a book. Now, I'd never written a book before. I'd never done any sort of publishing or any type of long written word when it came to anything that had to do with writing a book. And I didn't even know where to even start. And I went on a trip. It was my oldest daughter's senior class trip to Mexico. I ended up getting a handful of ebooks to read while I was in Mexico during this trip. And I ended up reading all the books in like a 5-day period, because all I wanted to do was spend time on the beach and just read. And I ended up learning about the self-publishing side of it and how to go about, how to structure and organize. And it led me into spending a number of months really writing the bulk of my book. When it all came together, I was able to self-publish it. I used Amazon's way of helping publishers do the work that needed to be done in order to publish a book. And so in 2015, I ended up writing this book, and it has turned out to be just a great lesson in keeping your mind focused after you go through something so traumatic and such a life-changing event as cancer. After doing that whole thing and learning all about it, it kind of opened up the next bit in the world for me as far as learning new things. And I ended up taking a lot of my old skills from video production and moving it into producing content that helped continue to share my story and continue to share everything that I was learning and as a survivor, and also help kind of create everything that you see now here with Internal Architect YouTube channel. Just recently, I started going through a lot of my old programs and just seeing what I had out there, because there was a lot of stuff that I filmed before I started down the publishing channel on YouTube. And I came across my old, what I thought I wanted to release as a master lesson program to kind of help cancer survivors through their own struggles. A lot of this has come full circle for me because I've had a number of conversations. I'm in the middle of one right now on an older video talking about PTSD, and I'll put the link right up here so that you can see it. And it's dealing with some people that are having a really hard time with survivorship and the struggles that they are going through. When I started going through this, I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to publish my class out there. I'm just putting it out there for free because I think it's really more important, especially during this time where we have all been inside for the last two and a half months. I truly believe it'll help people that are just struggling with everything that's going on right now too. The first one that I'm going to release, and I'm going to do this today, and I'll do a quick little video blurb before each one, but it talks about forgiveness, and it talks about the basics of why you need to let forgiveness into your life and allow everything that goes along with that, because it sets you up for bigger and better things coming down the road, especially with the lessons that I teach in my class. So without further ado, I want to present to you forgiveness and what it means and why it means what it does for cancer survivors. Enjoy.
Our first lesson is in forgiveness. Now, I don't want you to think that this is a huge religious lesson, but forgiveness has been used in all religions as a way to help forgive the things that were caused by people's decisions. It's also a way to forgive the things in our past that we could not have controlled but didn't realize we were making a mistake at the time. I've been able to use forgiveness in my own life not only for things and situations where I felt wronged, but as a way to forgive myself for the things and situations that may have caused. Knowing that something needs to change is one of the first and crucial elements that you will start to feel as a patient or as a new survivor. Over the course of your treatment, you probably went through a lot of reflection and mental questioning. How did this happen? Why am I here? Why can't this happen to bad people? Perhaps it was a struggle facing your own mortality to what it I do now as a survivor. Facing my mortality was incredibly scary. There were probably moments that you wanted to give up, as it was such a bear to keep pushing towards with every chemo round. Every single one of those feelings you feel are 100% valid and incredibly important. The big question was, how do you start to work through everything that you were feeling? There's a lot of tools to use as a new survivor, from counseling to support groups, which I highly recommend both, if you haven't already. Allowing forgiveness into your life is a great first step. For me, I didn't feel I had anyone I could relate to. As a new survivor, I felt alone and on my own. During my time in the hospital, I reflected on every aspect of my life. I did a pretty good job not living in regret, but there were moments where I reflected on the mistakes that I made and needed to face those mistakes and accept them. I realized there were times and situations that I felt regret towards, and it was that point that I knew I had to understand my regrets and learn from them. I spent a fair amount of time writing down the things that I felt regret towards. As I did that, I started to see the situations that have been bothering me and accept the fact that I made the mistakes and that I was going to do better by learning from them. This was the point I became open to accepting my mistakes, and it automatically allowed myself to forgive the regrets that I had been struggling with. Forgiveness exercise. Grab your notepad, and I want you to spend 15 minutes writing down all of your regrets that you can think of. It does not matter how big or small. What does matter is that you write them down so that they are visible to you. The ones that you have caused yourself are especially important. I want you to turn your phone on airplane mode so that your phone will not distract you, and use your phone's timer to help you with this exercise. When you're done, take a couple moments and analyze and reflect everything you wrote down. Then go through each one and say, I forgive myself and those I've hurt. I know it sounds dumb, but saying it out loud to yourself starts the mental change to creating the foundation of building a better you. Congratulations. Way to use forgiveness as a powerful tool to start moving forward. Now let's move on to change in belief and habits.
I hope you liked the video on forgiveness, and I hope it makes a lot of sense to you. Again, if you have any questions, hit me in the comments section below. And I just want to say thank you for your time and energy into watching the videos, and just want to say thank you. So I will see you on the next video.